Yeah, I
Thank
had
you so
just
much.
done that. Thanks,
Yeah,
Asari.
thank you so much. All right. So moving forward, do you think this particular dish that you see is healthy? Of course not. It's not a healthy dish. So what exactly is healthy eating? So healthy eating by definition means eating right amount of nutrients and eating varied food, like variety of food in your day-to-day diet. Because it's not a single nutrient that is going to provide you all the nutrients. It's not a single food that is going to provide you all the nutrients. So having a variety in your diet in terms of different types of food, different colors of food, that can bring about different nutrients, and you get different nutrients in different point in time. So that's when the variety comes into picture. This involves eating a balanced diet, because that's the right combination of macro as well as micronutrients. That's macronutrients are your carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, which are generally energy giving nutrients, whereas vitamins and minerals are like protective nutrients, which are also in the process you get through balanced diet. Now, apart from this, healthy eating also involves good amount of hydration. So having 2 to 2.5 liters of water every day is something that is a required quantity, and that should be forming a part of it. And thirdly, which is most important, and as we all know, minimizing the intake of ultra processed or packaged processed foods, because that can lead to health implications. So going by the definition again, it involves variety, as I already explained you. Balance in terms of macros and macronutrients, because every individual requires certain amounts of macronutrients as well as micronutrients to carry out your body's vital functionings, and because of which this balance is necessary. So you cannot say that I will be off carbohydrates and I will only stick to proteins and fats and vitamins and minerals. It doesn't work, because the carbohydrates which are there also are also required for certain other bodily functions, for example protein metabolism in your body. So that is why the balance comes into picture. Moderation, this particular practice helps you with portion control, and it definitely helps you avoid any overeating. But apart from this, moderation can also be taken into consideration when it comes to specific foods. Now, for example, just to give you an example, about coconut oil. Now, there are some researches that suggest that coconut oil is very healthy. And there are some researches that suggest that coconut oil is extremely high in saturated fats. So for the same coconut oil, you have two different contraindications, like right. There are very opinions about the same product. So how do you draw the line? That's where the moderation comes into picture. So it is always a good practice to keep everything under moderation and not overdo or underdo on it. And last but not the least is awareness. You need to be aware of what you're eating, which helps you make right food choices for yourself. Now, next is the importance, like why we should be adopting to healthier eating or healthy eating habits. Now, number one, and the most important one, it supports your overall health. Now, a well balanced nutrition can help you maintain your physical health by enhancing certain vital body functions. For example, immunity, or talking about energy production, or even tissue or cell repair, which can be caused, which there could be a damage because of certain factors, and that can a well balanced diet can help you recover from that particular damage as well. And that's why a well balanced diet is needed to support your overall physical health. It also prevents certain chronic disorders, as we all know that a well balanced nutrition can help you achieve your desirable weight. And when you achieve your desirable weight or a healthy weight, that keeps all the chronic disorders at bay. So basically, all the chronic disorders, I mean obesity and obesity linked disorders like diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disorders, or certain types of cancers as well. It can help you prevent these disorders for a prolonged period of time. then it also helps you with mental health. It also boosts your mental health. So there are certain components of a balanced diet, say for example omega-3 fatty acids, that act like antioxidants which can help you reduce the oxidative stress. There are certain vitamins like say vitamin E, or minerals like say for example magnesium or zinc or selenium. They also act like antioxidants, and they also have certain mental health functionings. So magnesium, selenium, zinc can actually help you boost your mood. It can reduce your stress. It can also help you with sleep. So all in all, it is also going to help you with your mental health. It's not just physical health. It also enhances your energy levels. So when you take a well balanced nutrition, it helps you with providing energy, because in the form of calories, of course. And this energy levels can be enhanced by, when you eat a balanced diet, it can actually help you with a sustained energy throughout the day. So you don't feel tired or you don't feel fatigued after that. And it also helps you improve your productivity when you take care of your diet well. It also supports healthy growth and development. This is especially true for children, who are in school going years, or even toddlers and infants, and also to adolescents, and also for people who ladies who are pregnant. This supports growth and development of their fetus when you take a well balanced diet. So this particular aspect is important mainly for these, but definitely these are the child growing ages, are the ages when the actual growth and development takes place. Even cognitive development that happens till the age of say 8 or 9 years. A well balanced nutrition can help you with that aspect. It promotes longevity. Of course, it enhances your lifespan. It also helps with preventing any degenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, dementia, or Parkinson's. It can also help you with, healthy aging. And that's why it definitely promotes longevity in that sense. And it, of course, improves your gut health, because there is a lot of importance that is given nowadays to gut health, because gut health is associated with different other, health implications, be it immunity, be it nutritional deficiencies, be it certain types of cancers, certain autoimmune disorders like rheumatoid arthritis or hypothyroidism, certain infertilities, or even PCOD for that matter. All these things can be linked with poor gut health. So, when you take a balanced diet, it provides you pre and probiotics, which are necessary to increase the growth of good microbiota in the body. So, when the good microbiome increases in the gut, the better the gut health is going to be. So you have to ensure that we take this balanced diet, so that you are also, taking care of other health implications. And there are mental health implications also with respect to gut health, because a poor gut health can directly linked with increased instances of stress and anxiety as well. So this is all with respect to importance of gut health. Now, let's be a little interactive. There is a quiz that I have. I want all of you to, either you can go off mute, or you can, just type in the chat box. I want you to identify the nutrients which are present in the dishes. I'm going to give you a couple of more dishes over here, but I just want you to just let me know, what do you think according to you are the nutrients which are there in it, and I will tell you why I've given you this quiz later. You can please go off mute if you want to. Otherwise, you can type in a chat box. Carbohydrates, probiotics, vitamins. Is there protein? Yes, it is. Yes, carbs, vitamins. All right. So yes, all your answers are right. It definitely provides you good amount of proteins. It has also carbs. There are also a lot of vitamins, particularly B complex vitamins. And yes, calcium. Yes, there is a chutney powder which you can see, which will provide you calcium. So yes, good answer. So, and of course, dietary fiber. It will also provide you dietary fiber, because you see a lot of vegetables there. There is this coconut chutney also, which you can see, which also provides you dietary fiber. So yes, these are the basic nutrients which are there. Now I'm moving to the next dish. This is, you can take it as mixed veg paratha with a curd. Yes. Does curd give you anything else also apart from calcium? Can you think in that way? Because it's a milk product. Probiotics, yes. Proteins, yes. Nobody is talking about fats. All these contain fats. You cannot prepare a dish without fats. So yes, the fats is also one of the nutrient which is present. All right. I'll move to the third dish. It's basically a sunny side up with toast. Anyone? Anyone wants to go off mute and tell me? Yes, proteins, fats. In fact, interestingly, egg yolk also gives you what we call it as biotin, which is very good for hair. So if you are thinking of, if you're having hair fall and, thinking of going for supplements, you can actually eat an egg per day. If you're a veg, of course, if you're not a vegetarian, but yes, it's just a fact. All right. So this particular quiz was basically to help you understand what is my next point. I'm going to move to what are the different aspects when we talk about healthy eating. And one of the aspects of healthy eating is always eat a wholesome breakfast. So these options that I just talked about, or rather I showed it to you right now, these were some examples of wholesome breakfast. This is something that should form your breakfast. So why it is important to have wholesome breakfast? First of all, breakfast is the first meal that you have it in a day. As the name suggests, break a fast. So basically, you have a fast of about 12 to 13 hours. That's your time from your last meal in the previous day to the first meal that you have it in the morning. So there is a gap of almost 12 to 15 hours. Because of this gap, or because of this fasting, what happens is your energy levels get depleted, your glucose levels get depleted, and your brain requires glucose to function better. So if you don't consume breakfast, which is a wholesome breakfast, it can actually reduce your concentration. It can also reduce your alertness and focus. So it is very important to take breakfast in order to improve your productivity at work. Second important aspect is that it helps you kickstart your metabolism. So people who are looking at weight loss, or even people who have hypothyroidism, they can actually benefit by having breakfast in the morning. Skipping breakfast is actually linked with increased cravings, particularly hunger pangs that we have during snack time, say around 4:35 ish, and that can eventually land you up in making wrong food choices. So if you are eating a good wholesome breakfast, you can reduce these cravings and reduce these kind of snackings, which can be unhealthy. Another important aspect with eating breakfast is for diabetics, which can help you control your blood glucose levels. So, all in all, eating breakfast is very important. You should ideally not be skipping breakfast. If you do not have that much of a time, you can either pre-prepare in the previous night, or you can go for some smoothies, which is an easier option to go for your breakfast. Or you can even have a brunch, something at around 11:30, 12ish time, wherein it covers your breakfast and lunch, and then go for a proper snack which would have proteins in it. Then eating enough calories. Now, when we talk about weight loss per se, people do have this misconception that if I eat lesser calories, I will lose weight. But it is not like that. Your body requires specific number of calories. If you're not meeting those specific calorie requirements, then also your weight loss will not happen. Of course, it holds true that whenever you're on a weight loss regime, your calorie intake should be lesser than calorie output. But it doesn't mean, because there are some people who really go on a crash diet, starvation diets, wherein they consume not even more than 1,000 calories per day, and that can also cause a problem, because not taking enough calories can actually help you, it can actually put you towards problems like nutritional deficiencies, because when you're not taking enough calories, that means you're not taking enough food from your diet which provides you nutrition. So definitely they will land up with nutritional deficiencies, or there could be muscle loss that you could have with this. It can increase your food cravings. It can also cause mood swings if you're not eating enough calories. It can land you up with different deficiencies for all you know. It can also cause infertility in women in childbearing age and even for men. And it can also cause certain skin related issues, like you can see dry skin, freckles, or even wrinkles on your skin. So that's the reason why taking enough calories is very, very important. Don't overdo, don't underdo, is what I would say, but take just enough. Then the next one is eat plenty of fruits and vegetables. As we all know, fruits and vegetables provide you good amount of dietary fiber. So when this dietary fiber is provided, it acts like a prebiotic for you. Fruits and vegetables also provide you vitamins and minerals which can boost your immunity. But since there's dietary fiber, it also acts on your gut health. It makes your gut health better. It can also help you with reducing your problems of constipation if you have any. It can reduce your blood glucose levels. It can manage your insulin better. It can also reduce your cholesterol levels from the body. So people who have hypercholesterolemia, they can actually benefit by eating more of fruits and vegetables. And also for people who have diabetes or even PCOD for that matter. Then eating a good quality protein every day. So now protein, as we all know, is important for muscle development. It is required for increasing the oxygen carrying capacity of blood. It is also required for maintenance of your electrolytes. So all in all, protein also is something that is very important, because when you increase your muscle mass, so people who are on weight loss or even for that matter weight gain, they require to increase their muscle mass so that they can see the results. So that is the reason having a good quality protein which has a high biological value, those kind of proteins should be there in your day-to-day activity, day-to-day diet. And if you see a typical Indian diet for that matter, we don't really meet our protein requirements for the day. If your requirements are normal requirements are about 0.8 to 1 gram per kg ideal body weight, a typical Indian diet, if you look at, will not even reach zero point 0.5 grams of proteins per kg ideal body weight. So you see the deficit between the two, between your requirement and your actual intake. So that's the reason why it is essential to add proteins to every meal that you take on a day-to-day basis, so that you can benefit out of it. It can also help you control your blood glucose levels, and proteins can also help you keep fuller for a longer period of time. When you take a protein meal, you can see that you don't feel hungry very often. So that's the importance of protein. So do consume good amount of proteins in the diet. Eat complex carbohydrates. Now, where you get your complex carbohydrates from? You get your complex carbohydrates from all the whole grains, like whole wheat or your millets for that matter. There are different types of millets that are available, like ragi, jawar, bajra, foxtail. So all these millets, quinoa, oats, all these things should be there in your diet, because these complex carbohydrates provide you dietary fiber again. So many people think that, if I go off carbohydrates, I will actually be benefiting out of it in terms of weight loss. But that's not true. You need to focus more on eating quality of carbohydrates through complex carbohydrates than the quantity, because complex carbohydrates, which as I explained to you, you get from all the cereals. Now these cereals also provide you vitamin B12, B complex vitamins, array of B complex vitamins. So if you are devoiding your diet of carbohydrates because you want to lose weight, then you'll have to supplement your B complex vitamins, because you're not getting anything from the carbs that you eat. So that's the reason why eating complex carbohydrates should be your more focus, rather than devoiding your carbs completely from your diet. Then moving ahead, reading food labels. Now, when this is related to the awareness that I was talking to you. So, reading food labels is also very important, because when you read a food label, you can make an informed food choice. You can eat healthy because you would know exactly what are the ingredients which are present in that particular food. It gives you overall list of ingredients. It also gives you the daily nutritional value that this particular food per serving that is going to provide. So it can help you make the choices better, and that's why food labeling is very important. And it also gives you an idea of how the food is prepared, or how you can serve the food, or how you can prepare that food. Then eating less processed and packaged foods. As we know, eating less processed and packaged foods is very important, because they are laden with chemicals. They are extremely high in saturated fats or unhealthy fats, that I would say. And it can also be high on your sodium, excess amounts of sodium, fat, and even added sugar. Almost 90% of added sugars are there in this particular food. And if you eat one particular meal with these packaged foods, you will be actually consuming 60% of your total calories, your total daily calories. So imagine the amount of stress that these packaged foods can have on you. Next is drinking enough water throughout the day, because water not only helps you with hydration, but it also helps you maintain your body temperature. It also helps in increasing the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. So the nutrient assimilation also becomes better. And it also prevents constipation for people who have constipation issues. So drinking at least 2 to 2.5 liters of water every day is something that one must practice. And last but not the least is exercise. Nothing can go without exercise. Even if you are on weight loss, even if you want to maintain your weight, you want to gain your weight, exercise is the key. You have to exercise in order to maintain your weight. You have to exercise, which can help you boost your mood. It can also help you with cognitive functioning, in improved cognitive functions. It can also help you with better stamina, better cardiovascular functioning. So that is the reason why exercising is very important. So at least having 40 to 45 minutes of daily exercise for 5 days a week is very important. So one must have these particular practices in order to have better health. So now that we have understood what are the different eating habits that you can inculcate in your day-to-day life, I'll give it to Rebecca, who would be talking about different strategies as to how you can cope up with, or rather, how you can be consistent with following these practices. Over
Thank
to you,
you.
Rebecca.
Yeah. Thank you, Savri. That was very enlightening to know about all these areas to look at when it comes to healthy habits. And the aim is having healthy habits, no? And sometimes what we find is that a lot of people think about what they should be doing. Maybe in their mind they know I should be exercising more, I want to exercise more, but actually getting down to doing it and putting it into practice is a different story. It really feels like a different task, even if I know the right things that I want to do. But having this knowledge also helps in that towards making the change. And sometimes that may be because our there's a rational part of us, but that works very differently from the emotional part of us, which may be not wanting to get up in the morning and do that exercise and all of that. And so what helps a lot when it comes to actually making that change that we may be thinking about, that maybe Asavri has elaborated as well, is to make our goals specific, smart. No, she was talking about it in the beginning. There are so many areas that she talked about, but when it comes to at this point where you are, maybe the reason that you joined this session as well, what is one area that you are leaning towards from all of these that she has talked about, that you are inclined towards putting into practice, towards making a change in your life? What I'm going to do is share a poll with you with some of the things that Asavri has shared. And if you only you will be able to respond to it, and we'll share the group answers at the end. So if you can do the poll and select something that you feel, one thing that you feel you are inclined towards working towards at the start of this new year? Can you see the poll? I've intentionally made it not a multiple choice option question so that we sort of get specific about our goals. We know that goals should be smart, they should be measurable, they should be specific, they should be time bound, they should be realistic. We know all of these things. So let's just put it into practice at this point. I can see people are answering. 5 people have answered. I'll keep the poll on for a bit longer so that others can answer as well. The research also has shown that, if we ask you to choose something at this point, we're more likely to sort of lean towards it or making that intentional choice really helps. Okay, let's end the poll and I will share the questions. So we're a group of around 14 to 15 participants, and what people have shared is that having a wholesome breakfast, eating more fruits and vegetables, less packaged foods, and exercise. I think a lot of people have chosen the exercise option, but it's nice that everybody has shared and identified what is an area that they are inclined towards or they are leaning towards. And while we have maybe selected the goal, and maybe this session may have helped towards gathering some information to help us along that goal, another thing that's really important when it comes to, are we going to make that change or not? Is it going to materialize or not, is how motivated we are towards making that change. And the next step that maybe is important to look at would be identifying what is your motivation, what is your internal reason that you feel that this is important for you, that what made you think about clicking that option over here today, what made you think of maybe coming in and joining this session uh, uh, at the start of this year as well. So I'm going to share some reasons that people generally think towards making a change when it comes to their health and their health behaviors in their daily life. Click and identify what you feel you connect to. You can even share in the comment section if there is something that you feel is not mentioned in our poll, but you feel is important. Okay, I think you can see the poll, right? Yeah. And there are no right or wrong answers here. It's just a moment for us to introspect and see what is motivating us. It's helpful to have a personal reason, something that's a little more emotional as well, that will push us. Because as Asavri was mentioning, the change doesn't just sort of happen overnight. No, it's about healthy habits, it's about effort. And so we're looking at that at this point. Okay, I see people that they are quite lengthy, the responses. So I'll give you your time to read it and look through it. I'll keep the poll up for a bit more. There's also an option of you mentioning any other reason that that you feel is important that's maybe not already mentioned. It would help the others also in the group. We're a small group over here. It would help others as well if you could share. So feel free. And it's anonymous. When I share the poll, it'll be anonymous. Okay. I think I'll end the poll at this point. Let's share the results to see where we stand, what are the kind of reasons that are coming up. 6 people said that they would look better, their clothes would fit better, a special occasion is coming up. 3 people said their doctor has advised them, or there is some illness or some physical reason why they are making this change. And others for better stamina, their job. Okay, I want to be able to participate in activities like a marathon, an upcoming holiday. Mm, let Sorry, my link has disappeared. Okay, yeah. It's interesting to know these reasons, and while all can be very motivating, like even putting up a good picture of ourselves on social media and getting a lot of likes and all of that, all of this is very motivating. And what the research has shown is that if the change is to be lasting, it helps when there is an internal reason. Like we know that a lot of people, when they have a pressing health concern, suddenly there is all the josh and momentum to put into place things that we could have benefited from doing a long time back. Yeah. And they say that exercise is the, if it were a pill, it would be the most widely prescribed pill for everybody. No, but so sometimes connecting with some personal uh, internal reason helps. Yeah. So while it's good to have these other things, whether it is to look good and all of that as well, finding and identifying for ourselves what would be an internal reason can help us to sustain that motivation in making this change. Yeah. So you can think about it more. You can think about what more information you may need to understand your reasons, where you stand when it comes to your health. And the third point when talking about making this change is identifying. Let me stop sharing this. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your reasons. As we go along, you can even share in the chat section. We will look at it later. I see there is one question already about complex carbs. We'll take it up a little later. But if there is something that we're missing or that you'd like to bring up as we are sharing these polls, also put it in the comment section. Yeah, and then so the next point we're going to is when it comes to making this change, it's not overnight, like Asavri was already mentioning. What we're aiming towards here is healthy habits across the lifespan. She talked about elderly, she talked about when we're young, she talked about children as well. So when it comes to making a change also, it may not happen that, okay, I wake up tomorrow morning and I think that from today I'm going to do this and it happens. No, sometimes it doesn't happen like that. We may think about it a long time before it actually uh, comes into place. And there are actually stages of change that there's an interesting research by Proshaka and colleagues that was done. And this was in the context of actually people who wanted to quit smoking. So it started in terms of kicking the habit when it comes to smoking. And then from there, a lot of people have used it when it comes to other health behaviors that we want to start inculcating and imbibing for ourselves. And this theory, it states that there are actually 5 stages when it comes to making that change. It's not an overnight thing. So we may first think about it for some time. Maybe we're not actively doing anything about it. Perhaps somebody has told us that, you know what, you should cut down on this. The doctor has told us or somebody else has told us, but we're not really thinking about doing it ourselves. And then we may move to a contemplation kind of stage where we're thinking about, should I really do this? Maybe I could benefit from starting to exercise now. I feel a little heavy there through the day and I want to do something about it. And then we may move into making a plan about it or actually preparing for it, moving into a preparation stage where we may perhaps do things like, okay, join this webinar, or we'll speak to a dietitian, or we'll speak to a doctor, or we'll do some tests. We'll be gathering some information. What do I need to eat? What do I not need to eat? So we may move into preparing before we actually move into action, which is the next step, which is the next stage, sorry, when it comes to making a change, where we're actively doing something, we're actually consuming more fruits, or we're actually getting up and exercising in the morning. And the last stage is maintenance, that is maintaining that change. So we are generally getting up in the morning and we're exercising, but we're doing it regularly and seeing that we do it regularly. So maintenance is the last stage. So there are actually these five stages of change when it comes to uh, m- motivation through making that change. No, and so what I'd like to do now is share another poll. So think about the goal that you chose, that you clicked some moments back. Where do you feel you stand when it comes to that goal? At which point in these five stages do you think you are? I've given a few examples, but you can elaborate from there. Yeah. So the five stages are pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. So if you have selected exercise, or if you have selected drinking more water, where do you think you are? Are you already doing something actively towards it? Maybe you're already doing something. Is this the first time you've thought about it? You've never thought about it before. Maybe you are in contemplation. Let's think about where you may stand today. I'll wait till a few more people respond so that we have our time to read through it. The interesting part about the stages of change is that, we may identify, and I can see people are uh, answering at different stages. We may think that I've not done anything about this or anything, but we may actually see that we're in the fourth stage. We're already in the preparation stage. No, and identifying where we are can help us know what we need to do to push ourselves to move to the next. No, so I'm already thinking about it. I've already done some background work when it comes to, okay, speaking to a dietitian or collecting recipes, or getting the cook to do something or the other which I had planned. So we may already be just at the edge of moving into that next stage. So what all will help us to move towards action? No, to move towards action. So maybe we need more information, or we need some kind of resources, whether it is some knowledge, whether it is some tools, or whether it is the practical thing of some types of groceries that we need to stock up on. So we may just need the correct resources to be able to move into action. So I will end the poll now and I will share the results. It's interesting that people in this session are already in the action and the maintenance stage. So that's really good, and keep it up. And for the others as well, a lot of people in the contemplation stage. So perhaps you are at the right place in the sense of thinking about it. You can really think through what you need to do. A lot of this information that we've shared on the polls and even in the previous poll is is also in one of the diet modules that we have on our website. So there's more information that you can gather and use to move you towards preparation or towards action. Yeah. And of course, towards maintenance also. What do you need to do to keep at your change regularly, to see that you don't fall? No. So thank you for taking the poll. And to help along, once we've identified where we are, what is the goal we want to achieve or work towards, here are some strategies that whichever option you may have clicked of what Asavri was talking about, will people have found helpful in terms of um, maintaining these healthy habits. Yeah, and remember, the aim here is not that we never make a mistake or we never have one packet of chips ever. The aim here is that it's not perfection, but it's about working towards healthy habits in all of these areas. Yeah, so from the one, let's get specific. From the one, think about the one goal that you picked, and here are some things that can help along the way. People have found it helpful to sit at the table and have their meal. A lot of the times we are, when it comes to eating, when it comes to our health, we may be looking at the TV and eating. We may be skipping our meal or eating on the run or not eating at the fixed times. What tends to happen is that when we sit at the table, at least we're having our meal at a fixed time. We're a little more conscious and aware about what we are eating. Yeah, so there is an awareness. When we are watching TV, we're just shoveling down food, and we're overeating, or we're eating late in the night, or we're eating junk food. Sometimes when we sit at the table, it's an attempt to at least have a fixed time. Even if practically we may not be sitting at the table, at least what we're aiming towards is a fixed time, a little routine in making food the priority. No, in making that a pleasant experience also. Maybe there is conversation, maybe there is more awareness about what we're eating, and so it becomes a priority. Yeah. What else helps is having an accountability partner, or making the change along with someone else. Sometimes it can feel very isolating when we have to do these things alone. It can feel like, okay, the whole world is eating whatever they want, and I have to do this very difficult and horrible thing. And so having somebody who we can make this change with help. So if it is maybe your partner, maybe it is your spouse, maybe it is somebody else in the family. Sometimes it is all the people in the household who can make that change. If it is a change that everyone can benefit from. No, because for instance, you may want to cut down on uh, salt or oil or sugary or processed foods. If everybody is making that change together, or the people in the household, you don't buy those things and keep it in the household in the first place. We are less tempted to sit and uh, give into that temptation of eating the junk food. And we are more likely, see, we'll be very conscious about pouring a glass of Coke for our child or for our elderly parents who are at home. We may be more conscious about giving them healthy food, but we may be slacking off on ourselves or guzzling these things by ourselves. No, so we are more likely to make these changes if we're doing it together, um, and everybody's doing it together as well. Yeah. Um, we are we don't intentionally want to do harm to others. Even people have found that when it comes to making changes like quitting smoking and things like that as well, no, we won't intentionally smoke in front of our children, things like that. So we cannot guzzle Coke but tell our children, okay, Coke is not good for you. So sometimes being a role model also helps motivating everybody, and helping each other when we want to make that change. Yeah. Another thing that helps is making a meal plan, or having some preparation towards making that goal. A lot of people feel like half the effort of cooking is in thinking about what to cook or what to make, for people who are running households. And so planning ahead for the week, making a plan of what you will cook, stocking up on groceries of all of these things, that suppose you do want to have more protein, have more eggs, or keeping these things available so that it's easy to access when required. Some people find it helpful also to, Asavri and me were talking just some time back about, marinating something in a big batch and then keeping it in smaller containers so that it's easy to access, through the week. So making a meal plan and preparing the previous night removes a lot of stress about what to eat. And also, it's more likely that you will eat what is available, what is there, rather than being tempted to Swiggy or order something last minute. So preparation in that sense does help. Involving yourself and even the others who are doing this change along with you, involving them in the process can help. Yeah, so you may, if you're doing the cooking yourself, you can think of what you would like to do. If there is some emotional investment from your end, it's more likely that you'll want to see that a success. So if you're getting somebody to cook, whether you have a cook or somebody else in the household, you can involve them as well in this change that you want to make, whether it is reduce the sugar or all of that. Yeah. So you might make uh, in households where there is some person who has some health condition where they have to reduce salt, maybe as a whole the family reduces salt in the food, or there's no salt put in the rice, no and then people can add their salt, or the tea is made without sugar and then you can add your own sugar later. So sometimes making that change together but involving others in the process also helps. You can get the children to maybe wash the vegetables, pick something of some good options of what are healthy options to eat, things like that, where in the measure that everybody in the home can be involved or in the household, so that there is the emotional investment of seeing it to be a success. And it helps us to just get into the routine of it also without it becoming like a chore. Where you can simplify things. Instead of cooking a 5 course meal every day, maybe you can cook one healthy thing, or you can cook a few options and keep it to eat later. You can yeah, you can also substitute when it comes to, let's say, there is watching TV in the night is what perhaps tempts you to eat some junk food. So you can keep some healthy options of what to snack on, whether it is having something, a warm light tea to drink at that time, substituting when you will get those cravings. So the time in the day that perhaps you tend to you crave something. Maybe it's after a stressful meeting or when you're watching TV. When do you tend to get these cravings? What can you do to substitute and have something healthy? Are there some fruits, some carrots, something that is available that is easy to sort of access and grab as well? Yeah, so thinking about how you can simplify your daily routine and looking at substitutes also can help you along this process of making this change and sticking to it. Yeah, and the last thing is look ahead. Don't look at your mistakes. We can learn from them, yes, but often we set these goals up for ourselves, and it's natural that here and there we may not do these things on one day. Maybe we skip our exercise, or maybe we friends come over and we tend to eat some junk food. So these things do happen, but we can learn from our mistakes. And the aim here is not, again, not perfection. Maybe there is something good that has already come from the few times, the week, the few days that we have made that change. Maybe just if we have managed it for a week also, it might have given us some immediate benefits, of maybe we slept better, maybe our stomach issue settled for some time. All of that, there will be some immediate benefit of doing that. So don't look behind, but look ahead towards, okay, how can I pick up and move on? Even when it comes to the stages of change, they say that the last unofficial stage of change is relapse, that sometimes we do relapse, but relapse is only already having gone through all of the stages to know that, okay, what has helped us before. How can we avoid the trigger going ahead? Yeah. So look ahead when it comes to that, when it comes to your goals also. Yeah, so just in a nutshell, we've covered a few things that people have found helpful, and all of what we've talked about may have just maybe scratched the tip of the surface or the iceberg when it comes to healthy habits. Maybe there are very specific things also that you may be thinking about or dealing with. We can have some time, of course, now to take a few questions, but also you can also refer to our resources on our website at Resilience Works for more information about any of this. Yeah, we have tools that you can use, tests that you can take to understand where your BMI, your health, different things like that. There are articles that you can read to gather more knowledge, which may help towards moving from preparation into that action. Yeah, so this is all written by our dietitians and psychologists as well. And you can reach out for uh, help. If you are registered with Resilience Works, you can reach out and book a session where you can have an individual consultation with a dietitian and nutritionist. Yes, about all of any of these goals that you may be thinking of. So you have access to the service. We'll put our link as well once you register, if you have not already registered. Yeah. So we have a few more minutes. Maybe we can take those questions now as well as Sabri. I think somebody has mentioned a question about
Yes.
yeah, you can see it.
It's about the complex carbohydrates. I'll answer that question.
Yeah.
Sagar, basically, complex carbohydrates you get from foods like whole cereals, whole grains like your wheat or ragi, jawar, bajra, different types of millets that are available, like sama millet and all that. And you also get from quinoa, dalia. All these things will give you complex carbohydrates. Now, these complex carbohydrates, what they do is they provide you a sustainable energy because it helps in the release of glucose slowly into the bloodstream when you eat them. It contains dietary fiber, or there is a substance called beta glucan, which is present in most of the complex carbohydrates, or rather, all these cereals that I mentioned about. And this particular substance can actually help you in certain physical health benefits, like it can reduce your LDL cholesterol. It can also control your blood glucose levels. So people who are diabetic or who are having high cholesterol levels, or even women with PCOD issues, can actually benefit by improving their intake of complex carbohydrates. I hope that answers your question.
While we take the questions, I'll also just share a poll that you can share your feedback on. And we can continue taking the questions
Yeah,
in the meantime.
sure. So Lakshmi, is it that eating sweets, dessert, slice of cake in the morning better than any other time of the day? So see, there is no fixed timing. The sooner you reduce your sugar intake from your diet overall, it's better for you. So it has nothing to do with eating a slice of cake or a dessert in the morning is beneficial or is in the night beneficial. It's reducing it to a larger extent is very important. By that, I don't mean that you cannot eat that completely. You can have it. You can have it in a portion, a smaller portion of it if you are having once in a fortnight. It is not something that is going to harm you. But if you have that week on week basis or day on day basis, if you are having sweets every day or desserts every day, then that's definitely going to harm you. But just to answer your question, there's no fixed timing as to when it is better. Welcome. Any other questions?
Hi, Savari, Masti here. You've
Hi, ma'am.
spoken about eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, but is this something that one can just have a combination anytime, or is it there's a good time to have fruits, or fruits need to be eaten separately? Not after a meal. You get a lot of mixed thing about when the
Right.
food should be eaten. Could you,
Right.
share some light on that? Yeah.
Sure, sure. So generally, fruits can be eaten as a in-between meal. It should not be, first of all, eaten empty stomach, especially for people who are diabetics. They should not be eating fruits on an empty stomach because it can cause a sudden spike in their blood glucose levels. So definitely a no-no for diabetics to eat it on an empty stomach. It can be a very good pre-workout meal or a post-workout meal, or it can also be in between your meals, like between your breakfast and lunch, to bridge that gap between the meals. This is a very good snack that you can have. And about fruits, eating combinations is also fine. I know that there are lot of researchers, or there are a lot of things that you cannot combine a citrus fruit with an apple, say for example, or so. But there is nothing like that. But what I recommend usually is try to include seasonal fruits more often. Like whichever is in season, you can actually consume those fruits. And having a portion or two of fruits in a day is not something that is going to harm you, but don't go beyond that. Having one or two fruits in a day is definitely something that you can look at.
Thank you. And what do good quality proteins mean? Could you give us
Right.
some examples of that here?
Right. So good quality protein is where, it's called a complete protein basically, wherein all the amino acids which are required. So there are 9 essential amino acids which are required by your body. So a protein which contains all those essential amino acids present in it is called good quality protein. So the example of good quality or a high biological value proteins are milk and milk products, and all the non-vegetarian items like eggs, fish, chicken. These will provide you good quality protein. So it becomes a challenge for a vegetarian, because what happens is dals. If I have to call about, if I have to say that dal, because it is protein in nature, it doesn't mean that if you consume only dal to improve your protein intake, you can actually benefit out of it. Like, not all of that protein you will be absorbing in your body. But when that dal is combined with a cereal, it helps in better absorption of protein, because dals do not contain all the 9 essential amino acid. It lacks one amino acid which is present in cereals. So when you combine a cereal and a dal together, that's when the protein absorption is better. And then that you can call it a good quality protein. So for vegetarians who do not consume eggs or chicken or meat, they can actually have dals, pulses, nuts and oil seeds, milk and milk products. All these things are good quality protein. But again, as I said, dals should be combined with cereal to call it a good quality protein. So if suppose if one cup of dal is going to give you some, say roughly about 7 grams of protein, if you do not combine it with the cereal, not all of that 7 grams will get absorbed in your body. But if you combine it with the cereal, then definitely all the 7 grams will be absorbed in the body.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Any other questions? I've sent the link also for people who have not probably registered. They can register using the link that has been provided. Any other questions or any doubts that you would like to clarify? All right. Looks like there are no doubts or questions. So I think we would like to end here. Thank you so much, everyone, those who've taken out time and attended today's webinar. Thank you from my end and Rebecca's end. So, and I have a great day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.